Today we'll be filing a review for the HTC ThunderBolt for Verizon Wireless, the first smartphone to run 4G on the LTE network on Verizon Wireless. Before I turn on the phone, I'd like to go over the hardware of this phone. On the very front, you have a 4.3 WVGA TFT capacitive touchscreen. They call this aka Super LED screen. The phone weighs 135 grams and the thickness of the phone is a little bit over 13 millimeters. We have the newer HTC earpiece right here with a LED notification light. We also have a 1.3 megapixel camera. This is a higher res than most smartphones on the market right now. We have capacitive touch buttons on the bottom, the standard Android buttons. We have home, menu, back, and search. On the back, we have dual mics. We also have dual LED flash, an 8 megapixel camera. On the middle we have HTC branding and the branding of 4G LTE. We also have a kickstand. This is metal brushed. It does have a weird type of sticker finish on it. After a few weeks of use, I scratched it up. The finish is actually starting to come off. Under the kickstand, which is really nice, you have a Dolby Dual surround sound speaker. And I'm not really sure what this is, but I think it's a screw hole. I'm not really sure exactly what that is, but I'm guessing it's a screw hole. On the right side of the device, we have a volume rocker. Now this is a one type of button, and it's kind of loose, and what's in your pocket, it's kind of hard to decipher if you're on the lower volume or higher, and sometimes you feel like you click it and it doesn't. So I'm not really happy with the volume button. On the other side of the phone, we have absolutely nothing but the micro USB charging port. On the top, we have 3.5mm headphone jack with noise cancellation mic right there. We also have your indentation to take out the battery cover, and we have your power and sleep wake button on the top. On the bottom, all we have is just your microphone. So let's jump into the actual phone, the hardware inside. Now this is the first phone on Verizon to actually have a SIM card dedicated actually to the service. We do have international phones that have SIM cards to activate the 3G service in Europe and Asia and wherever you're going, but this is the actual first Verizon phone to have a SIM card. It runs 4G. Now you have to have this SIM card to actually have this phone. You cannot just choose 3G and not have the 4G option. You have to pay 4G. That is an extra $29.99 a month. You also have, which is really neat, a micro SD card. This is a 32 gigabyte. It is pre-installed and it is a class 4. Not really sure if you can see that. And the internal memory is actually 8 gigabytes. So roughly you have about 40 gigabytes out of the box. But if you're considering the formatted memory, then you really only have 32 gigabytes to use. Just to keep that in mind. You also have the vibrator right there, if you can see that. Pretty neat. And let's just power on the device. When it's booting up, I'm going to tell you the prices for it. So if you're getting this new, if you're new to Verizon Wireless, it's $249.99. And if you're also upgrading, it's $249.99. The actual memory inside this phone is 768 RAM in here. It's not a gig, and it's also not dual core. The chipset in here is a Qualcomm MSM 8655 1 GHz MDM9600. This is one of the newer generations of the Snapdragon processors that they use in the HTC phones. So when you boot on, you get a really nice animation. And we have autofocus is on the camera. I forgot to mention that it is an autofocus camera, and it also shoots 720p, 30 frames per second. Another thing to note, this does have Wi-Fi, and it does support 802.11 BGNN routers. It also has Bluetooth 2.1 EDR, and when available, which is now since March 17th, you have 3.0. The battery on here, totally forgot to tell you guys, the battery is a 1400 milliamp battery. We also have GPS and assisted GPS on here. Other features you'd like to know about this phone, we do have a compass sensor in here, a G sensor, proximity sensor, light sensor, and there's illuminating lights here that goes on when it's dark. So that's pretty much all the hardware parts of the phone you need to know. Now I'd like to go over the music application and the HTC ThunderBolt. Now this widget on here is actual widget of the actual music player. There's two stock ones that come with HTC on it. This one's the bigger one, and the smaller one is pretty much just a bar. It shows you your recent song right there, and it does a play and next soundtrack. If you want to actually go into actual application of the music player, you just click it, and it'll directly take you to the music player. The cool thing about this, it does have cover flow, kind of like the iPhone and the iPod Touch. Same way if you do landscape. Now, cool thing, while you're playing the song, which one would be? I don't want to get copyright infringement. So when you're playing it, there's a cool, if you tap the music info right there, the album art, you get a cool list of the album that's on there. You get a list of your songs there, and then if you click that, it'll disappear. Also note on this music player, it's pretty much set up exactly like the iPhone and iPod Touch. The only thing I hate about this music player is while you're in the middle of searching for your song, so say you're listening to, let's say we're listening to Nicki Minaj, and I'm playing her song, and I want to go back to Nicki Minaj song. So you click the menu button, and boom, it takes you back directly to your artist, but to the very, very top. It does not resume back to where you were. So if you're at the very, very bottom of your list, you have to go all the way back down to where you were, which is very, very annoying. So whenever you're in the recently playing song, you have to go back and go directly back to where you were. So that's the biggest downside about the music player in the HTC ThunderBolt. Otherwise, it's exactly like the iPhone 4. The hertz ranges, I believe, are exactly the same. It's 20,000 to 20,000 hertz. You do have a music equalizer on here, so let me just show you that. This is the cool thing about the TI Audio DSP. This new feature on this phone is when you click this button, it will digitally enhance the sound of your song. You just want to, it's called the SRS enhancement, or it can do no effects, or when you're on your headphones, you can do a wide selection of equalizers. Pretty much the same ones like the iPhone. Now you do have repeat and repeat all features on here. You do have your scroll right here to search through your song. You have your previous track, your play, your pause, and your advanced track. You also have now playing button, which is right here. Another cool thing about this, you can connect this to a different type of player, like your computer. When you press the menu button in here, it shows your playlist. You can make playlists on here as well. You can find YouTube videos, which is a really, really cool feature if you want to see a music video of it, or, you know, some lyrics. You can also do your sound enhancer like I showed you before. You can share this song. So you can share it via Bluetooth, Gmail, mail, or text messages. And there's also more selections. So you can set its ringtone, you can shuffle on and off, you can do repeat or details. Another cool thing to note about this music player, there's also icons on here, and there's cool animations for them. Another cool thing about this, you can rearrange it also like your iPhone and iPod Touch. So say you want your artist not here, you want to move it all the way to the end, you can do that. So that's the music player in HTC ThunderBolt. Now let's do a speed test. Now if you guys want to do your speed test, you have to connect it to your Wi-Fi, because people are claiming if you just use your LTE on your phone that you get ridiculous upload speeds, about 20 or 40, depending where you are, but really you have to connect to your Wi-Fi. Verizon's average download speeds are 12 download and a 5 upload. Now I did this all yesterday, different times, about 3 times when I tried it, different times, and the average upload speed, I got 13 download and 5 upload all the time in my area. But when I go around about, I do get about 9 and 5 or 9 and 4. Sometimes I get above that. Sometimes I get 14 and I get 6. So LTE is extremely fast. So speed test wise for LTE, it's really fast. So AT&T is just going to have HSPA Plus network. It's not true 4G. We're going to run a quadrant test on here, and while that's running, I'm going to tell you about the voice quality on the calls. So let's run this quadrant test. Let's do a full benchmark. And while that's running, I want to tell you about the coverage and how good the 4G service is on this phone. It's pretty clear. People have been complaining that there has been buzzes during phone calls, and also that the 4G speeds do vary from where you are, which is true because it is a new network. It's new technology, so I wouldn't expect everything to always be fast, but the speeds on the LTE network are really fast. I think you get around 8 to 7 uploads, if that's correct, or downloads, and then you get about 12. So it's about 8 or 12. I forgot which one's which. I'll tell you which one's which in the section below. So let me just tell you the scores of this. My device, the HTC ThunderBolt, scored 1,518. The one below that is the Nexus 1 2.2. Then you have your Droid X. Then you have your HTC Evo. You have your Galaxy S, your Nexus 1, HTC Desire, Xperia, and Moto Droid. I don't see any other higher phones on there, but the score is the highest on here. Now this is running Froyo 2.2. Actually, the exact number is 2.2.1.